Coffee and ginger nut ready. I talk about Aldi ginger nut in another video. Here they are. So good. Huge thank you to Penny for getting them for us because they are our favorite. If Chris doesn't come to the coffee, looks like the coffee is gonna have to come to Chris. Let's see what he's up to. Can I carry everything? Yeah, I got this. I can see your leg. Oh, what are you doing on my side?
Just dicking around, really.
The coffee is gonna get cold.
I'm gonna put this annoying golf box back together. Right, so a little while ago I mounted the old UHF off the Jeep that I was running, but it was a pretty old antiquated system. So it's been really nice to upgrade to a brand new GME. GME, if you're not familiar with it, is kind of the top of the brands in Australia. It's designed here and manufactured here in Australia. They make awesome UHF stuff, and I think they make EPIRBs as well. So we're running this XRS 370 C4P, and then we've got an extra aerial as well. So the way I've had the aerials described to me, because sometimes people aren't quite sure why, sometimes you'll see like a short aerial, sometimes you'll see a really long aerial. And then you've got what's called DB. So you've got DB1 to about DB8 when it comes to UHF style aerials. So a good thing to think about is almost like an artillery strike. So you're almost like a range. So if you think 1 is up in the sky and 8 is directly out in front of you, you want to literally be bombing someone with your signal in order to contact them. Now in Australia we've got mostly flat, lots of flat terrain, so you'll usually see the longer whip style aerials. This is a 6.6 dB aerial, and when you go up in that spectrum, like I just said before, that's lower, almost like straight across. So really good for like highway driving, stuff where there's not much hilly terrain. And then when you get into more hills and mountains, a little bit like say Kosciuszko National Park, or for instance if we're in the Pyrenees in Europe, then you're going to go your shorter dB, and that's closer to 1, so something like 2 or 3, and that's kind of firing your signal up into the air, and you literally, yeah, up that way, you're literally lobbing it over mountains and over crests, and that's how you can talk to people further away. So if we find ourselves in hilly terrain, we can change to our shorter, lower dB aerial and easily connect that to this. Okay, so this plate here kind of goes in there, I guess, and my feet don't go anywhere near it. So it's basically wasted space, but it's a really good spot, I thought, to mount the UHF, because one of the things I like about the UHF is that all of the controls are on the actual handpiece rather than on the control box. So this can be small, tucked away, and you never have to really use it. So that's going to be down there. Now on the inside, I've mounted a little fuse box, I guess, little fuse station. So these are some of the negatives for my lights anyway, if you're wondering what those are, but positive and negative, that goes up to my number 1 switch here. So these are completely inactive until I press the switch, and then I can use, say, UHF camera system and stuff, even if the car's not on or the truck's not on. So all I need to do here is the UHFs for 12 volt. I want to keep everything in the cab 24 volt. So got this little, it's like GME's little converter specifically for their unit, so incredibly low power draw. I'm just going to stick that on with some VHB tape there and plug the controller in, the UHF controller, and we'll be away laughing really. So, and then it's given me a whole heap more room to mount any other accessories that I want to have up here in the cab. So that's what I'm going to do this morning.
So Chris is just finalizing the wiring of the 12 volt, 24 volt converter in the cab, and I'm gonna make him lunch. I'm making him lunch every day so that he's got a short break, can just eat and go back to work. Every day he's got the exact same lunch, bagels, smoked trout, cream cheese, rocket. Except yesterday, he didn't buy the normal smoked trout that is already filleted and it's just like basically I grab it and I put it in the bagel. This time, he grabbed the whole fish. It's your job normally. Me, I'm the one cooking.
I catch and fillet and you cook.
I don't know, but you're the one who's got a spare fishing jumper. All right.
It's true.
Show us how it's done.
So it's already been smoked, so I'll just remove that part. Still got bones though, so not the sharpest of knives.
You know. How is it?
Very nice. Very, very nice. Got it all set up now. So got the XRS just sitting right there with UHF going up into the cab, and now I've sneakily mounted the shorter aerial, which I probably won't change too much, especially here in Australia, but it's kind of quick access for us right above the windscreen there. Don't know if you can see that. So right there. But yeah, that was a breeze to set up and wire it all up, because I did most of the groundwork the last couple of days.
All right, so yesterday Chris installed the UHF radio on his side, but now today we've got as well the handheld radio, which is for me. That will be on the passenger side, which I guess will be very useful once we get back into traveling, especially when we go off-roading. So we had one on the Jeep last year, and I remember particularly on Climbing Track where I was like filming and at the same time sporting him. That was so useful to be able to guide him, because it was quite an intense track. And I would imagine as well with a Mog, because it's obviously a much bigger vehicle and potentially harder to drive. I mean, I've never driven it yet. Maybe one day, we don't know. So I can imagine that Chris will really need my help. So this is where the GME handheld radio will come into action. So now I just want to find a place as well in the cab to potentially have it set up instead of having it in a glove box where potentially I'll just forget about it. I would like to have it as well potentially on that side, similar as Chris has on the driver's side, so that I can just grab and get out of the Mog. All right, so let's just have a look how big it is. It looks like it would fit. I can still shut the door, no issue. Yeah. So the wiring of the reverse camera is done.
It is.
So now it's time to test.
Yeah. All right, jump around the
All
back.
right. It's working.
Works.
Yes.
So reverse light works?
Reverse light works.
Okay, and reverse camera is my auxiliaries.
Okay, I'll go behind and I'll say hi.
Yay! Look at this idiot. It's a working day and this is how she behaves, eh? Job's a good one. Alright, so I've done what I wanted to complete this morning.
Oh my god. Oh no.
You've booby trapped my chair. You planned this, that's why you're recording.
So for those who wonder, we can see on a beautiful sticker here, but these chairs are from Kmart. They were quite cheap, and to be honest, they're pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good.
So last year we had some Frontrunner compact chairs, And to be honest, as good as they were compact and very good in terms of space, they were definitely not really comfortable.
And they were just rubbish quality.
Yeah, not very good quality. They actually broke twice. So yeah, we decided we're never gonna buy those again. So don't recommend the front runner chairs. Kmart chairs,
Yeah,
pretty good for the price.
I agree.
Not a well-deserved lunch.
All right, so just completed our first hatch, so I'm so happy. This is the second one. We got the little hinges from Styromax. They arrived yesterday. They're also by Takajin, that Japanese company. So they're real sturdy and good. And we're putting 3 per hatch. So I'm just gonna first find my halfway point. Then I know where that first one goes, and then I'm going 80 millimeters in from each side is where I put the other 2 hatches. That's kind of just the rule I've given myself, and then yeah, go from there. How did that look?
Tiny bit more on the left.
Moment of truth. Technically, it should work.
Yeah. Oh, hi. Ta-da! And then in. Compression. Yes!
The day has come to install the door.
Work on the door. Okay, so this is our handle. Not completely flush, but pretty bloody sturdy. Made out of 316 stainless. That flips down, we've got a key. So I'll just grab the key. So that goes in like so. Open. And then it's a 360-degree rotating handle, so it's on a bit of a ball joint. That turns a square shaft, which in turn will move on the inside of our box a cam. So you can see that cam moves up and down. And then that, so it'll be a bit like this, that is going to move 2 rods, 2 big long stainless steel rods, one going down, one going up, and therefore it becomes a 3-point locking system. And I reckon that's going to be the safest way to go. And then we just need to source a handle, probably another stainless handle, that'll go on this square peg shaft, and we can open it up from the inside. Now, you may say, what happens if someone comes along, because say I remove this key here, someone comes along from the outside while we're on the inside and shuts it. It locks when it's shut, and this cam no longer moves. So that becomes interesting. First of all, what we can do, we can remove our handle from the inside, and we can undo a couple of nuts and just pull the cam off. So that wouldn't be the end of the world. We can then get out that way. Alternatively, I can open the window, which is next to the door, and very easily, because we've measured this up, open it from within the box. So super secure, and we can get out if for some reason someone locked us in. Yeah, so now we cut into our door, which is pretty straightforward. I just did a mock-up on another piece of panel like I did for the hatches. All I need to do is cut out that square there and that shaft, and then I'm actually going to glue this handle into the door instead of mechanically fastening it, because if I mechanically fasten it from within the inside of the door, it's going to leave too big of a hole, which I don't want to do. So I'm going to glue everything. In worst case, if that glue ever failed, then I'll look at mechanically fastening it. So I need to glue the gasket, that seal, to the handle, and then I need to glue the gasket to the inside of the box.
That's the plan. Thank you again to our patron, because all the hatchet hardware, the door hardware, all of that came thanks to their June contribution. So it's really meaningful for us. It's the ability to be able to be safe and lock the mug. So yeah, huge thank you. That was good from here. Okay, I'll set here. A bit more this way. Yeah.
We've glued our handle in place, glued the gasket, glued the actual handle, got some weight on it now. We'll probably end up sealing around it at a bit of a later date, but yeah, our handle is in place.
And again, the old battery
It's coming in handy.
is coming in handy. Now time to put the seals on the door.
So can you double check that's at the bottom?
Alright, so yesterday we successfully installed the seals on the door, so now it's time to put the hinges on the door. So we will go with the same one that we went with the hatch, the one from Staromax, Takigen marine hinges, which we're quite happy with. We've just measured that they are exactly at the same spacing on the door. We'll be using 7 of them. Unfortunately, we only have 6 left because we used 3 on each hatch, which initially we thought we'll only use 2. Anyway, long story short, this is where we are now. Chris is gonna do the holes with his drill. Thank you as well to the comments on YouTube who tried to help us as well with our disappointment from last week. A few of you mentioned that we could have used the piano hinge on the outside.
Yeah, I don't know why we didn't think of that. That would easily have worked. So, I'll grab the hinge, one sec.
So yeah, we could have done that. The only thing we talk with Chris is maybe looks-wise, it would have not looked as nice, but that's the only thing.
So a bit about these hinges. So these are rated for marine use. So they should be very, very durable. And the pin that goes through these plastic latches is actually stainless steel. This is tricky to know what grade of stainless steel it is. When we bought it, it was meant to be 316 stainless. I'm not convinced because the 316 stainer I've seen does not look like that. I reckon it's a lower grade. And then I saw someone in the comments, they said the actual pin that goes through the center wasn't even stainless steel, so that rusted.
Yeah.
So we definitely can at a later date remove these hinges if we don't like them, and we can definitely slap that straight on. I'd already pre-drilled these holes, but for our longer hinge, which I've got in storage, that I haven't even pre-drilled the holes for, so that's fine. So we can definitely do that at a later date if that proves to be a stronger sort of system. As you guys probably know, having your hinge on the outside of the box or door, whatever, is really less than ideal in terms of security, because it's much easier for someone to just take the hinges off and pull the door off. Now, the way I'm doing the door lock on the inside, that won't be possible. Even if you remove the hinges, you won't be able to pull the door off.
Yeah, so
by the time they got
after
that door off, they would have destroyed the entire door anyway, and then whatever. So, and I don't think this would be much stronger either, because you could just grab a punch from one end and you could just knock the entire pin out in one assembly. So I don't really think having this on the outside would be stronger either, even if it was riveted. So that's kind of where we're at with that. I'll have to think of something to do with the hatches, because that, yeah, if you pulled the hinges off, you could probably just take the hatch door away. So we'll look into that a bit further. We did it. We hung the door well.
Can you go all the way?
Yeah, but the door handle can smash, so we just gotta be careful of that right now.
Yeah, we'll have to have something.
Let's
to
just tape
protect.
something there for now. It's a bit squishy on the seal. Not real bad, but it's a little bit squishy on the seal. All right, so I can finish the rod system. What I've done, so I've trimmed the rod. So we'll put that in. That guy goes in there. That's our rod at the locked position, at the unlocked position.
The door goes.
Yeah. Can you hold the rod edge? Okay. We're back. So, that goes here. Now, what I did was we went to Bunnings, of course, and I bought this stainless steel. So it's 316 stainless double eye bolt. So I've already used one eye at the bottom. So I'm just going to pull that guy out there, and then that eye is going to go here, and that's going to act as our, sorry, it's going to go here on the door, act as our rod guide. And then all I need to do is drill a 4mm hole and put one of these M5 riv nut in the door there, and this guy will screw into that. So I'll do that now, and then we'll show you the finished result.
So one thing that Chris forgot to mention was actually to trim the little eye screw thing.
Eye bolt.
All right. Oof. Also, while we're here, because we've got some very clever and very knowledgeable people watching us, give us some recommendation for what we should do for stair system. We've got potentially some ideas, but let us know and we'll be keen to hear what you think.
I have to fix that noise though. Yeah, it works. So now we just need to buy a handle for that square peg. And we are in business. So, don't mind me. Just gonna unlock our door.
Ta-da!
Good morning. So, last week, it is Monday, we installed the gas strut on our other hatch. Didn't go completely smoothly.
No.
But we got there in the end, and that was our first gas strut. So we've gone with a little Goliath one, also from Bunnings. It is 100 newtons of force. It's non-adjustable. The adjustable ones are really expensive, so we're giving these 100 newton ones a crack. Comes on like a little ball joint already, and we've just got these little brackets to put in. We now know the measurements of what worked on the other hatch, and also the measurements of what didn't work. And so this should be really easy today. So I'm just gonna rivet this in, and yeah, we'll be there and we'll show you the finished result.
Yeah, so as a just very quick information of what didn't work, you're supposed to have your bracket, I guess, closer to your hinge, 20% of the length of your hatch or door, whatever you're making, and we had it just on the other side.
Yeah, we had 20% from the opening, not 20% from the hinge, and apparently that makes a huge difference.
And it doesn't work.
Yeah, so that
But
was
easy to
fun.
rectify. So
Let's do this.
Where do we
so
start?
I've taken the measurements. That goes there. Do you mind running around the other side and double checking if you think that looks pretty much the same?
so you're measuring.
Yeah. I already have, but just so that you can double measure it. So we've got about
5.5 from the bottom.
5.5.
Yeah.
Cool. Affirmative.
And approves.
Ange approves, so that's the all clear. You okay?
Ta-da!
Ew.
This is the
Soft open.
finished result of the two gas struts. Only need one. Very happy with it. Woolworks treat. Like a spaceship.
And it's over my head, which is what I wanted.
Yeah, and I can as well reach, which was one of the criteria. I don't have to be on my tippy toes to reach the top of the hatch. So yeah, that's
So you can
perfect.
close it, yeah.
Very good job.
Cool.
All right, so this concludes this week's episode. We hope you liked it. It's not yet the interior fit out, but we're getting closer. Our two main goals the past weeks were to make the mug not only waterproof, but also lockable, which we have accomplished finally.
And I have such a huge jobs list. I wanted to be able to tick a few of them off. So that's really why I wanted to do the lights and the wiring and stuff like that. So the jobs list is getting a little bit smaller before we start the interior. So we'll start working on inside for next week.
Thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you next week.
Cheers, guys.